Most people didn't notice her when she walked through the school halls. Emma was one of those quiet girls who sat at the back, avoided drama, and never raised her voice. She wasn't weak, just calm, always observing, always thinking. She wore oversized hoodies and walked with her head down, her headphones in like a barrier to the chaos around her. But under that silence, she carried something few knew, something powerful. She was the daughter of a retired Special Forces soldier who raised her with quiet strength, endless discipline, and the ability to defend herself when the time ever came. She just never thought that time would come in the middle of a school hallway, surrounded by people who had no idea who they were messing with. It started with whispers, just stupid teenage rumors, the kind that fly through hallways faster than fire. Emma became the target of a group of seniors, loud, cocky, always looking for a new victim. Jake, the leader, had a twisted sense of humor. He and his friends would mock her clothes, her silence, even her posture. They'd bump into her on purpose, trip her, laugh when her books hit the floor. Teachers either didn't see it or ignored it. Emma never told anyone, not even her dad. She kept it inside like she was trained to, trying to stay invisible. But the more she stayed quiet, the bolder they got. One afternoon, after school let out and the halls were nearly empty, Emma was cornered near the lockers. Jake and his crew surrounded her. One of them knocked her backpack off her shoulder, and it slid across the floor. Another grabbed one of her earbuds and yanked it out. Jake smirked, stepping closer than he should have. "You think you're better than us, huh? Too good to talk?" he said, his voice dripping with mockery. Emma didn't respond. She stared at him, not with fear, but with a steady gaze. Inside, she wasn't scared. She was calculating. She'd been trained to stay calm. Her heart was beating, but her breath was controlled. When Jake tried to push her shoulder, something inside Emma clicked. She remembered her dad's voice, "Stay calm. Don't strike first. But if they cross the line, a broken bar, you don't hesitate." And in that moment, they had crossed it. With shocking speed, Emma caught Jake's wrist mid-motion and twisted it just enough to make him drop back. Startled, he wasn't hurt but surprised. That surprise turned to anger fast. "What the hell?" he growled. He lunged again, but this time she moved. Her dad had taught her how to use momentum, how to use someone's weight against them. She sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and flipped him over her shoulder. He crashed onto the floor with a loud thud, his friends freezing in disbelief. The hallway fell silent. One of the other boys rushed her in rage, and she responded with a quick sweep to the legs. He went down hard. Another tried to grab her from behind, but she spun, ducked, and elbowed him in the ribs with controlled force. Not enough to seriously hurt him, but enough to make them stop. All of them. They backed off, breathing hard, clutching bruised egos more than anything else. Emma picked up her backpack, slid her earbud back in, and walked away like nothing happened. But she knew everything had changed. Word of what happened spread faster than wildfire. By the next morning, she wasn't the invisible girl anymore. Students whispered about her like she was some kind of superhero. Some exaggerated the story, saying she flew through the air or knocked out 3 guys at once. Others just looked at her differently, with respect, with fear, with curiosity. Jake didn't come to school for 2 days. When he finally returned, he kept his head low. Emma didn't brag. She didn't smirk or mock them back. That wasn't her way. Her dad taught her better. Power isn't about showing off, he used to say. It's about knowing you have it, and choosing when to use it. A week later, something happened that even Emma didn't expect. Jake approached her in the cafeteria, alone. No backup, no threats, just Jakey looking more like a lost kid than a school bully. He stood in front of her table, awkward and unsure. "Yeah, broken bar, I just wanted to say sorry," he said. His voice wasn't loud or fake. It was real. "I didn't know a broken bar, I was being a jerk." "You didn't deserve that." Emma looked at him for a long second. Then she nodded. "Thank you," she said. That was it. She didn't need revenge. She didn't want him to suffer. She just wanted it to stop, and it did. What no one realized was that Emma never wanted a fight. She never wanted attention. But she wasn't going to be walked over either. She was taught to hold her ground. She was taught that being quiet wasn't being weak. Her strength wasn't in her fists up, it was in her control, her calm, and her courage to only act when it truly mattered. By the end of the semester, Emma's story became more than just gossip. It became legend. A quiet girl who stood up not just for herself but for anyone who'd ever been bullied, mocked, or underestimated. She never changed her style, never raised her voice. She just became a broken bar, undeniable. Teachers started paying more attention. Students started thinking twice before mocking someone. And Emma, she kept walking those halls like she always had a headphones in, hoodie up. But now, no one saw her as invisible. They saw her for who she truly was, the daughter of someone powerful, and a powerful person in her own right.